Welcome back to the University of Maryland in College Park, Maryland. We are live for the world premiere tournament of Core Disruption. Joey, 2 matches in the books. Match number 3 is coming up next. Shadow Assassins is one of the teams. They'll be going up against Savage Academy as well. Joe, was a little bit of a tongue twister for me earlier on.
Yeah,
in
the
the
name
broadcast.
crept up on you a little bit
It
earlier
snuck
on.
up. It wasn't like we had
time.
the introductions or anything else in the regular, in the first half of the show or anything. But anywho, both of these teams going up. It's number 2 seed going up against the number 7 seed here. Again, 2 matches in the book. 3rd match coming up next. Saw 2 very different styles of play in our first 2 matches. I'm kind of curious to see, is there a third way to play this game? Is there a third, maybe off meta of Core Disruption we'll see here coming in this match?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is each time in both match 1 and match 2, we saw one team go full lasers to kick things off. That's 9 lasers, and while they do paint that damage pretty far away, as you get closer and as you have some of the other weapons like the Plasma Bolter, that heavy damage starts to fall off.
Absolutely. See both teams starting to load in. We are just moments away from the first game here of this best of 3 series. Savage Academy on the blue side. Shadow Assassins. Oh, almost did it again. Almost on the red side. Joey, Shadow Assassins is the number 2 seed. Savage Academy is the 7th seed. We saw a 4v5 last go around. That was a very evenly matched contest between those 2 teams. Now we're seeing a little bit of a lopsided in the seed standing, but that means nothing where any given Saturday here, any team can win.
Yeah, absolutely. Moron's Cube coming in as that number 1 seed, but being pushed quite a bit in that early matchup up against the number 8 seed. They did go 2-0 in the end, but the damage was laid down and it was quite close.
Both teams have found each other. Joey, Killer Skittles taking the damage first for Savage Academy, lighting up both sides and the front part of the tank. Same with his other teammates as well. Shadow Assassins looking pretty good. Energy Swords taking a little bit more damage to the front left panel of the vehicle as well. No one's core is exposed as of yet, as both teams starting to try to rotate around these obstacles, looking for those clear sights to lay down some damage.
Yeah, both teams with lasers coming out. Energy Sword now with the front plating down on the right side, while Vixel TTV also down on the left.
Yeah, both cores have some damage on them as well. Energy Swords looking a little worse off than Vixality TTV. Both teams still trying to get their first player down. Energy Swords down to 32 on the core, with that front right panel fully exposed. Nothing blocking there. Will have to try his best. Now the entire front side of that tank for Energy Swords completely exposed in that core. He's in trouble. Have to try to find a way. Nope, doesn't matter. Obstacle or not, Energy Swords is the first victim here in game 1. Killer Skittles taking some damage to the core as well, along with Super Chan. Super Chan taking some more damage too, down to 16. Shadow Assassins might be down to 1 player in just the next few moments. They will. Sir Kill-A-Lot, the last one standing for the Assassins. It is a 3v1. And Sir Kill-A-Lot, his days might be numbered here in game 1.
Yeah, just like his name says, John, he's going to have to kill a lot here. In fact, 3 tanks in a 1v3 to pull this one back. Vixel's core is exposed. Killer Skittles also with the core exposed, but Sir Kill-A-Lot feeling and tasting the rainbow here from Killer Skittles in that laser.
Under 50% here for Sir Kill-A-Lot. Down to 16 left on the core. It's just a matter of moments for Sir Kill-A-Lot. Kind of being knocked around there just a little bit. Down to 10, down to 0, and match 1 of this best of 3 goes to Savage Academy.
John, I think it's safe to say they were pretty savage in that one. They came out early on, taking 1 tank down, then taking 2 tanks down, finding themselves in that 1v3 situation, laying down the damage and getting the job done.
Yeah, Sir Kill-A-Lot there didn't really kill a lot there. Also, a 3v1 is very difficult. We talked about that a little bit earlier on in the show. But nonetheless, we're seeing that slow pace style play out here once again. Both teams really trying to feel each other out. when it comes down to positioning. We're seeing group play. We're also seeing the spread out play from both sides as well. It feels like a hybrid mix of the two is possibly the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about laying down damage. We see a lot of teams spreading it out, but if you can eventually poke through to the core of one of the players and cut yourself into a 3v2 situation, it becomes much, much easier from there.
Yeah, and really this is the second match in a row where we've seen the team that starts out putting down the most damage fresh out of the gate when they come out of the hangar is the team that ended up losing. So really, the early advantage, I don't even think you can call it an advantage because that early damage didn't really pay off. Or, on the other side, you could say that early damage forced the other team to abandon their strategy, and they have to worry more about spreading that damage out over all of the other plates on their vehicle, which we've seen now 2 times in a row actually work out for that team.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to confidence as well. When you do get that early damage, you start to press up a little bit, you start to push the opponent into a corner, or potentially a building, depending on where you are on the map. But in the end, that allows them to take an advantage because they come up and they expose themselves from the side.
So game 1 of this best of 3 series in the books. And Shadow Assassin down 1-0. Savage Academy takes the win. They're going to have to make some changes in their playstyle because, again, like you said, Joey, the aggressive playstyle hasn't really been working out in this last map versus the last match as well. We're seeing the team that has been ultra aggressive usually is the one that ends up falling in the long game. Now, if it's something that you want to stick forward to, you want to be the aggressor from the get-go, it feels like you almost have to fully commit to it. You cannot make that change mid-map or mid-game to say, hey, you know, we're going to go from being ultra-aggressive to now we're going to play passive, because now it just seems like it's too much for these teams to really try to make that strategy change mid-game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they do a good job kiting around for quite a while, too. They get the damage down early on, but then when they move in, that's when we see these cores start to get exposed, particularly for that team that starts off early on with that damage coming out. I think if you're going to do that, maybe rotate around a little bit, look for some more flanking opportunities, and so far we haven't seen too much of that today.
Absolutely, and we're starting to see some changes as the day goes on. We're not seeing teams fully commit to lasers. I say that as just as the graphic pops up, it is pretty much all lasers once again. Scorpions across the board, laser weapons as well. They seem to be doing the job here, Joey. Obviously, the longer range, the consistent damage, just the big question mark here is how you manage that cooldown. And that comes down to positioning as well, using that cover to help cool down your weapons as well.
Well, and you also have a ton of length to work with as well. When you have all these lasers available, you can stick to long range. You don't necessarily have to move in. You can keep really painting your targets from far off. And that's something we've seen some teams fall into a trap to. They get that early damage and then they move in with those lasers.
We have loaded into the amphitheater. Both teams coming out of the hangars. Joey, the one thing we have not seen is teams go in the opposite direction here on the initial start. We haven't seen anyone kind of wait, just as I say that,
yeah.
Just as I say that, it feels like it's a caster curse, as now we're seeing Savage Academy rotate to the left as Shadow Assassins are rotating to the right. Now it looks like both teams might be pushing in towards the center here a little bit, as Savage Academy starting to spread out a bit, trying to find those buildings to hide behind as the damage coming out onto Chai Master Zen starting out here early.
Yeah, the damage coming out, but already, John, a little bit longer into the game and seeing much less damage on the side of Savage Academy already to their plating. Meanwhile, they are returning it pretty heavily on Shadow Assassins as well.
They are, and Shadow Assassins not being aggressive. They're not being as aggressive as we saw last go around. They're using those buildings for coverage, trying to find their angles and their sight lines to do quick damage. They're not looking for prolonged damage. They're looking for quick hits, and they're moving back. You can see them on your screen right now, kind of strifing back and forth between those buildings. You can see Sir Kill-A-Lot right now and Super Chan kind of moving back and forth, opening those gaps, finding those sightlines, and quickly moving back to save the damage on those panels.
And again, if you're playing lasers, this is exactly what you want to do. Paint that damage from a distance. You have plenty of range with the lasers. On top of that, you can use those buildings, wait for that cooldown from the heat, and then move back in.
And then just as that happens, Shadow Assassins hit the gas pedal, and they move in on Savage Academy. But it's Energy Swords with the core taking damage first once again for Shadow Assassins. That aggressive move may have hurt him in the long term. That front right panel completely exposing the core right now. 76 health left for Energy Swords on his core.
And that's exactly what we said they shouldn't be doing, John. They got to stay back if they're going to use full lasers like they currently are. When you do eventually move in like that, you allow yourself to take damage from the other stuff, like we have the Plasma Bolter on the side of Savage Academy. Absolutely laid into Energy Swords there.
And see, right now you can see Killer Skittles might be looking for a possible flank here. No, he's just going to move straight in. He's got all three grouped up, just laying damage down. Super Chan taking damage as well. His core being exposed. The front right panel for both Super Chan and Energy Swords fully exposed, both at 70 and 67 health left on their core. Savage Academy might be the 7th seed here in today's tournament, but they are taking it to Shadow Assassins.
And now that's where you want to see more rotation. They need to make those side panels the panels that end up facing Savage Academy here. If they keep looking straight on, they're going to take more and more damage.
Savage Academy using those buildings to their advantage, spreading the damage all the way around all of their plates. A smart move. All the cores are exposed for Shadow Assassins. They're all taking damage. Savage Academy still looking good. The plates now, just as I say that, Vixtel is the first one to take damage to the core on the side of Savage Academy. They're trying to rotate around now. Taking a look at the Assassins, they're slowly moving as well. They're spread out a little bit more than what we're seeing from Savage Academy. That's going to help prolong them just a little bit longer, but a lot of players under 20 health already for that core.
Yeah, this one's not going to last too much longer if the aggression stays here. There is a little bit of a 1v3 here with Killer Skittles, though.
And that's a quick double kill for the side of Savage Academy. It is quickly a 3 versus 1. Energy Swords, the last man standing, and it's not going to be standing for long. That is a clean 3-0 kill in Game 2, and that is a 2-0 sweep for Savage Academy.
Absolutely. The Energy Sword may be a power weapon in Halo, but when it's a 1v3 in Core Disruption, John, it is far from a power weapon, a tough situation to be in, as Savage Academy pulls the win.
Savage Academy taking down the number 2 seed, punching their ticket into the next round. Joey, we saw that the slow play, the patient play really pay off once again between both of these teams. We saw the Assassins really try to come out and be the aggressor, and it came back to bite them once again. It really exposed their cores, and they quickly fell as soon as those cores were exposed after that aggressive push.
Yeah, this seems to be a theme today. With the teams playing full lasers, they end up getting that early damage, but then they move in a little bit too far. They don't realize the advantage that gave them from that distance, able to paint their targets. Once you eventually move in, you allow yourself to take a lot more damage.
All right, 3 matches down, 1 to go here in the quarterfinals for the world premiere tournament of Core Disruption. Up next is going to be Garfelf going up against Thonk, the final matchup here in the quarterfinals before we head on over to the semifinals. We're going to throw it to a quick break, but on the other side, that last matchup, don't go anywhere. You're watching Core Disruption.